So if you find this sleep story helpful or interesting, then give it a thumbs up, leave any comments that you've got below, and if you aren't already, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you can receive notifications of when future sleep stories go live. I have dozens and dozens of stories already on my channel that you can go and search. I also release new stories every single week, so I hope you enjoy this story. So as you listen to this sleep story and you begin to relax, you can just let your eyes close and allow yourself to get comfortable. And I don't know whether you'll drift deeper asleep with the sound of my voice, or whether you'll drift deeper asleep with the spaces between my words. And as you begin to drift and float asleep, I'll just tell this story in the background. And you can find yourself watching TV. And you're sitting on a sofa, and TV's on in the background. And although you're watching it, you're not really paying a huge amount of attention to what's on that TV. And it's late in the evening, and the TV is just casting a glow through the room. And you can notice shadows dancing in the room from the light of that TV. You can notice that TV glow, where the volume's low. You're not really paying too much attention to it. You're just relaxing back, feeling a bit tired and sleepy, relaxing back on a sofa, an incredibly comfortable sofa, feeling your back sinking comfortably into the sofa, feeling your breathing relaxing as you just gaze into your room towards that TV. And while you gaze at that TV, not really paying attention to what's on the TV, so your mind begins to wander. And as your mind begins to wander, so your eyes begin to close, your breathing begins to relax, and you begin to drift inside your mind, drifting inside your mind into a reverie, drifting, relaxing, floating deeper and deeper into your thoughts. And as you relax and float deeper into your mind, so you begin to have this sense of perhaps almost hearing cutlery, the sounds of a restaurant, and discovering yourself sat at a table across from someone you love, enjoying a meal together, and noticing that it's your favourite meal, smelling the smell of that, the feel of eating that meal, of cutting the food, the weight of picking an item of food up with your fork, the feeling of putting that food in your mouth, of chewing that food, salivating, of eating that food while gazing over at the person you love, engaging in conversation with them, sometimes just listening, other times doing the talking, and throughout eating some food, and maybe having a drink with that food and feeling the sensation of that drink as it passes down from your mouth, through your throat, towards your stomach. And the background sounds around you here in this restaurant. That mumbling murmur of people talking. The sight of movement out the corner of your eye, of staff walking around and people moving around. The smell of the food, of your food, of the food of the person you're with, the smell of food you're not going to be eating, as staff carry it past you. And engaging in the most pleasant evening. And after the meal, yourself and the person you're with leave the restaurant. And you take a journey down to a seafront. And you walk down onto the sand on the most beautiful evening, noticing the way the footsteps change as you walk onto the sand and your feet start sinking into the sand with each step, and the way that the closer you get to the seashore, as the sand becomes more wet, so it feels different under your feet. And standing on a moonlit night with the person you love, as waves gently roll in on the shore, hearing the sound of those waves as they lap onto the shore and roll in and reach the shore at different points and pull back out again to sea. Noticing perhaps stars in the sky, being able to breathe in the fresh air. And enjoying being in the moment here. And perhaps the moon's out and you can notice the way the moon lights the ocean surface and dances with the waves. As you enjoy being in the moment. And then the two of you stroll in synchronization with each other along the seafront. And a little way down, just enjoying the evening, you discover a secret tunnel. And you decide that you want to explore this secret tunnel. And so the two of you walk into that secret tunnel. You illuminate the tunnel with a torch, noticing the way the light bounces around the walls. Walking deeper and deeper into this tunnel. Hearing the way your footsteps echo through the tunnel. And after a while, the tunnel curves around a corner and you continue following that tunnel, curious where it's leading you. And then you discover a ladder, you follow that ladder up and find an exit from the tunnel. And you exit the tunnel and you realize that you're in a secret section of a nearby castle. And so the two of you begin to explore this castle. You wonder who knows about this tunnel, and you know that you've visited this castle before and have never seen this room. And you leave the room and explore along a corridor. And there's no lights on in this section of the castle, so you're just using torchlight to explore. And you find rooms with the most beautiful beds. You find rooms with the most beautiful furniture and the most comfortable looking seats. And so you continue exploring. And then you find a spiral staircase, and so you ascend that spiral staircase. And at the top of the spiral staircase is a door. But this door just seems to have almost like a button to push rather than a lever to pull. And so you push on that button and the door swings open and light enters, and you realise you're in the main part of the castle now. And the two of you walk through that door, close the door behind you, and realise the door just looks like a part of the bookcase. And you try and figure out how to open the door from this side. And after a little while you figure it out. You figure that you just have to partially lift one of the shelves and the door pops open. And you realise that what you found is an entire floor of this castle that it seems no one presently knows about. That there seems to be an entire floor of this castle only accessible through this secret door, and that it's probably been untouched for centuries. And the two of you walk around the castle a bit, and this is lit up. And you assume there's no one around in this area currently. But you know that some of the castle lights are often left on so that when people look from further away from the castle, even at night time, they can notice there's a castle there, that the window lights just help to define that something is there. And the two of you decide to go back downstairs in this castle. You go back through that secret door, close it behind you, descend the spiral staircase all the way to the bottom, and start to explore the secret rooms. And the first thing you notice is that there are no windows down here, that this secret part of the castle seems to have no windows. And so that would be why no one's ever really discovered it, because unless you discovered the secret tunnel on the beach, or unless you'd accidentally triggered the secret door, there's no real way you would know that there's this level underneath the castle. almost like a secret basement to the castle. And the two of you go into the most comfortable looking room, sitting down on the most comfortable looking chair. And you reminisce and chat and enjoy each other's company, sitting in this quiet room, feeling peaceful and calm. And then without any real thought, the two of you feel so comfortable, you just begin to drift off asleep. And as you drift off asleep, so you find yourself walking through a meadow with long grass, beautiful flowers, smells of a meadow, trees dotted through the meadow, the most beautiful sky, a slight breeze catching your face, that you can breathe in and notice that slight coolness with each breath. As you walk through this meadow, feeling that grass against your legs, and then you see what looks like a rabbit hole across the meadow, and you walk towards that rabbit hole, and you go and sit down next to that rabbit hole, curious about whether any rabbits will come in or out of that hole, but doubtful of that happening while you're sat there. And while you're sat next to that rabbit hole, you run your fingers through the grass in the meadow, feeling that tickle-touch feeling of the grass on the palm of your hands and between the fingers, picking a dandelion and blowing across the top of that dandelion. And then you think you see something just inside the rabbit hole. A slight green glow. And so you reach in. But as you reach in, so you begin to shrink. And yet with the experience you continue. And so you reach in further, and you continue to shrink further, to the point where you're the size that fits perfectly in that rabbit hole, finding this a curious and interesting experience. And you walk into that rabbit hole, noticing what the mud looks like on this scale, and the roots of the grass that penetrate the walls of the rabbit hole. And your eyes seem to adapt to the light inside the rabbit hole. And at the back of the rabbit hole is a very ordinary looking wooden door. The extraordinary thing about the ordinary door is that it's inside a rabbit hole. And you open that door and walk through into a light, marbled room noticing how your footsteps change as you go from walking on mud in a rabbit hole to walking on marble that echoes. And someone comes over and asks you to wipe your feet, because or else you'll make this marble dirty. And they direct you to a mat, and you go to the mat and you wipe your feet. And you feel that this experience is just becoming more curious. And they then say, come on, you got to hurry. You got somewhere to be. And they hurry you along. And someone else then comes over and says that their role is to make sure you're dressed correctly. And they measure you up, measuring your legs, your waist, your shoulders, measuring you up. And then going behind a blind and coming out with some clothes they've managed to create specifically for you. And you change into those clothes. And then get asked to follow that first person again, following them down a corridor, through a more elaborate door, out into a land that feels like you're in the garden of a vast palace. With highly manicured trees, shrubs, the most beautiful colours of flowers, and people dressed for a party. And you walk down the steps, following the person down those steps, from the exit down to the main garden. And you walk all the way down those steps, and then out to the garden. And people greet you as if they know you. And you greet them back in kind. And head through the garden. And get told you've got to go to the grand oak tree. So you walk all the way through the garden, all the way to the back of the garden, to the grand oak tree you can see standing at the back of that garden. And the person walks with you to that grand oak tree. And at the oak tree, they ask you to gently run your fingers around the side of the tree. And so you gently run your fingers around the side of the tree. And a door pops open. And you walk into that door, descend down in that tree, deeper and deeper underground. And you find that your hand here just seems to glow and light the way, as if you're following yourself deeper into this tree, going down deeper and deeper underground. And at the bottom of the stairs under the tree, you find another door. You pass through that door. You find yourself in a room, and in that room is a chair. And you feel compelled to go and sit and relax in that chair. So you relax down in that chair, rest your arms on the side, and allow a sense of relaxation to spread through your body. And as you sit down and relax in that chair, and you allow your eyes to close, so you begin to experience the sensation of a comfortably warm beam of light passing down from the top of your head, down through your eyes, your face, your cheeks, down your neck, seeming to comfort and relax you as that light spreads down through you, relaxing the neck muscles, the shoulders, the arms, the hands, the back, the chest, relaxing down to the stomach as the breathing becomes deeper and more relaxed, relaxing down the legs all the way down to your feet, and then feeling so deeply relaxed. And in this relaxed state, having a sense of being in a different time and place, of opening your eyes and seeing someone sat there who explains that they're like a guide, that their job is to encourage someone through curiosity to find them here, where they can communicate and let them know that they're on the right track, to help them to understand what to focus on, what path to take, to help them to understand some of the deeper learnings in life about how to get the most from life. And they engage in conversation through curiosity for a while, before the person has a sense of closing their eyes again, and the light fading, and then opening their eyes, where they leave that room, find their way back up to the tree, leaving the tree, going through the party, finding their way through the palace, out of the rabbit hole, and they gradually find their way back to resting on that seat in that castle, and then they find their way out of the castle and find their way back to the beach through that secret tunnel. And gradually the experience fades away and you find yourself resting on a sofa in front of the TV, with the TV just lighting the room, not really paying much attention to what's on the TV, but having a curiosity about whether what's on the TV could have influenced the dreams, the experience, and a curiosity about what else might influence, what kinds of thoughts you have, what kinds of experiences you have, where your mind focuses its attention without you realizing. Then you turn the TV off and you go off to bed and relax down in bed and allow yourself to drift and float asleep, curious about the learnings you've had and how those learnings will help with each day as you drift and float and relax deeper asleep.